maintaining proper posture and balance when you're training and when you're actually engaged with an opponent is one of those elements that you don't want to neglect. Now there's a few quick and fast rules that if you haven't seen them before, you should know them. So if you look at my feet, if I step into a stance here, I don't want to get my head over my knees or my toes. The further I go forward, the more dangerous it becomes for me. Now, go ahead and stand in a stance, Jamie, sideways. So if he leans over, like let's say he's doing a takedown or something, and he leans, and put your knee back for me, a little bit further. Right? Yeah, bring back the foot. There you go, a little bit more. And now lean into me. So his balance is inherently off at this point. Why? Because his head is over his knees and his toes. Now stretch your toes out toward me, get yourself in a more stable position. Now at this point he's still pretty stable. So you should be able to see the difference in terms of how that works. Stand up straight for me. So go back into a stance. So in a proper stance, his feet are start out a little bit of shoulder width apart, then they spread back. In this case, he's using a typical Thai boxing stance where it's forward and the rear foot is at a 45-degree angle. He's really in a good position right here. His hands are up to be able to protect him, so if kicks are coming in, he has the ability to block. If punches are coming in, he has the ability to block. His head was down, tucked in to be able to protect himself, and shoulders were brought in nice and tight. We want to make sure that you never step over this, and you never step behind it either. Go ahead and stand up straight for me. So I'm going to hold you here. If you watch his back here, there comes a point where he's inherently unstable. Now if he leans forward, inherently unstable. The fact that I'm holding him, it puts him in a position where he's not going to fall, but if I let him go, he will unless he braces himself with his legs. So go ahead and go back into your stance. Now from here, it's the same kind of thing. You don't want the head to go past this back knee either. Watch what happens. Now he's completely unstable and he's in a bad position. So whenever you're working on your stances, it's important. Go ahead and face forward. It's important that your head never passes your knees and never passes your toes. Your toes always extend out. So even when you go to do a jab or something, it's not uncommon. You'll see people's stance spread as they're getting that jab or that cross. And the reason for that is so that they don't overextend themselves. So this is a really simple, easy to remember thing. But if you don't do it, you're going to suffer the consequences of it. So make sure you practice this a lot when you get into your positioning, when you're doing your kicks, when you're doing your punches, when you're doing your takedowns. Otherwise, it's pretty detrimental.